Yeah.
Roll me that d20 to see how much power you pull away.
15.
15, not bad. Envy is like clawing at the I-beam in her back and like pulls it out, and you can see that portion of her is like spraying these sparks and bolts, and the wires you have on the ground kind of shoot up, dive into that spot on her back, and she roars as the electricity just is channeling into you. And you feel yourself just like electrified and surging with, energy that you have now gotten at an extreme discount. As is the Locust way. Osprey.
Oh boy.
Alex, we can't hear you.
You're muted.
I gotta stop hitting that button.
Hit that.
So I know I was a lot of copies.
Yeah, there's still some copies of you.
Are there any clinging to Envy?
There's like one or two, but the gravity around her, while she is like rooted to the ground, it seems like anything near her is being drawn upwards as if being like tractor beamed with a UFO or something above her.
Gotcha.
So that there's an osprey who's like hanging on, but he's like, like
definitely having a hard time.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's like a half dozen of them like that. The rest are all flailing and kind of going up into just, the sky.
Yep. Poor guys. They'll be fine.
I'm sure, yeah.
I'm going to. I want to, because my reality is what I decide. I want to switch places. I want to be the one that's holding on to Envy.
Okay.
While holding on to Envy, I'd like to hold down, get my boots under her, and just like in the maze, lock on so that gravity is directed down for me.
Okay.
And then
roll me that d20 to see if you can end her like gravity effect on that version of yourself.
17.
Yes.
Okay.
You think to yourself like, man, I'd love to be over there, and you are. You're not sure if you've like replaced yourself or if you've like done the thing that Tyrant did in the maze where he like made the space just like close the distance, right? But you're there, you land on her, and you're like, yeah, gravity's down, or it's whatever I need it to be to stay upright.
Yeah.
So you're on her back.
And I'm going to, while holding on to Envy's back, kind of say it quietly, but I figured, she can hear. I hated doing this the first time, and I pull the knife up that I usually carry, and I find a hole in the armor, and I just jam it down into her.
Yep.
And I've hurt Envy before with that knife, and I feel like I'm very confident I could do it again, even if she's a giant dragon.
Yeah. Roll me another d20.
5.
5. Okay. You definitely stab her with it, and as you're thinking like, man, I bet that did a lot. It definitely did last time. You hear in your head or from like her voice or wherever it's coming from, she says, you think you're the only one who learns from their mistakes. And you see the like plating on her back kind of shift and snap your knife.
Yep. Panic.
Yep. Alright. Anna Rose.
Alright. So I'm going to use my jet boots that I still have from earlier.
You do?
I would assume so. I'm still wearing the cowboy boots under my dress.
Oh yeah, you totally have them. That wasn't a question. You also have the energy shield that you just haven't turned on yet.
Yeah. But I'm going to fly myself at Envy with it, and thinking, oh yeah, I should use friendship. I should use my friend's weapons. And I'm going to try to conjure Chronic's chainsword in my hand to slash at Envy's neck.
Yep.
Get it?
3.
Not a guy.
Right. You're flying towards her, and you're thinking like, man, I need I need a friend's weapon. And you think about Chronic's chainsword, but unfortunately, Grace has conjured a Chronic in this scenario. And so you're like, come on! And nothing appears, and you look back, and Chronic is holding his chainsword, just like, oh, hell yeah, thanks, mate! So you've managed to give Chronic a weapon. That's something.
Yeah, that's something.
I guess I'll put Chronic down here in the bottom of the initiative.
I can be texting Chris Nolan and ask what he wants me to do.
Chronic slash. If you want to link him and have him hop in, he can hop in for this last like 40 minutes or so.
I'll text him. I don't think he's online. He's not responding to me, but
okay.
he's ghosting me.
Yeah. So that's your turn. I mean, I'll let you try one more thing if you want. It's just sort of a like quick like I need a weapon. So what do you try instead? Anna.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
boy.
Try something else instead.
You're still rocketing towards this dragon as she's like thrashing and kind of dealing with the ospreys on her.
I'm gonna think. You know what? Then if that doesn't work, if not the weapons of my friends, then at least the least I can do is power up my friends. And so I'm going to try to use build friendship up and have it burst out of me and buff my friends.
All right, I like that. Roll me that d20.
8.
8. Okay. You think this might work, but you're kind of, as you're getting closer to the dragon, just getting harder and harder to focus. Right? Were you affected by the fear effect before?
Yes.
All right, you haven't broken that yet, so just to be aware. But as you are flying towards the dragon, you're like, I gotta help my friends. What could I do to help my friends? My friends, my friends. And in your hand, sort of unconsciously, you write the code for your princess weapon.
Oh.
Which is not activated, but it's there suddenly. And you're like, oh, snap. Princess Pistol of Love. And we'll move on to come back to that. Clippy.
Alright.
Pistol of
So, Clippy is currently assisting Reginald with some electricity. So what Clippy's gonna do is he's going to use the power of 2 Clippies to summon another Clippy. But this third Clippy, is not going to be a regular Clippy. It's going to be the gone sexual version of Clippy, the one from the rave, where he's got the.
Boy.
And that Clippy is going to dance to try to remove the fear effect from anyone that is currently afraid by encouraging them with his sick robo moves.
Yeah, so Clippy manifests as Gerard Bates.
No.
No?
Yeah, consexual Clippy from the what's it called? The Raven Queen rave.
Raven Queen rave.
Is it really just gone sexual Clippy, or is there a name for it?
That's the name of it. Clippy gone sexual.
Gotcha. I know
Clippy gone sexual.
Girls Gone Wild.
It's the one that's my Facebook profile picture.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what's gonna happen.
A new Clippy appears.
And he's
just
gonna try to.
Whatever is radiating.
Sex energy.
He's gonna try to make everyone no longer afraid of the dragon.
Okay.
Because we're too horny?
Too horny to be scared. Sorry,
He's
Chief.
like, damn.
Too horny to be scared is the best Blessing tagline, I think, of the whole night.
I rolled a 3.
Okay, yeah.
No one's horny.
No one is really like aware of this Clippy that has shown up to dance. But because there are 2 of you, I'm gonna say that second Clippy is just like, what are you doing, man? We gotta hang. We're like, this is not gonna work. And from the sky, dropping down and crushing Gone Sexual Clippy to just like get rid of that extra like focus is Clippy the mech golem from the earlier fight. And he says, I'm going to make things better! And like activates a bunch of his like missile turrets that all start to like activate and point towards Envy. Alright, moving on.
Okay then.
Grace, Chronic, and Dex. What are they doing?
Okay. I'm just gonna point for Chronic and Dex, I'm just gonna point at Envy and be like, hey, destroy that thing. I don't know about this, but I really want to do it. I want to make myself a weapon.
Okay.
I want it to be a spear, and I want to try to imbue the feeling of chaos that I felt when I looked at the collective. Because I know that makes envy weaker. But I don't want it to get out of control, but it will maybe. I want to try to imbue the feeling of chaos that comes with the collective into that weapon.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and roll.
I'm just trying to remember like how I had felt on that day that I first saw them. 19.
And everything goes wrong.
You hold your hand out to make this weapon, and the spear forms. First, it's like that blue grid shape, and it starts to fill in. But as it's filling in, it keeps glitching. Like the skin on it won't settle and decide on a look. This spear is just continually shifting and morphing, and like not all of it is changing at the same time. It's like broken up into pieces, like a badly glitching game. But it is solid. You can feel it. It's just its appearance is like that shift, that quick static break up, come back together, form weirdly, form straight again. It's that like distortion that the collective causes.
Nice.
You gonna do anything else with it?
I'm gonna start moving towards Envy with it held up. So the very least she can see it.
Are you like gonna like holding it like you're gonna throw it at her, or holding it as like a come at me?
Yeah, holding it ready to throw.
Okay. Cool. Alright. It is Envy's turn. Let's see, what is she gonna do? I think she again to Osprey, who's like on her back still, but there's like the other Ospreys hanging on to her. Her large dragon mouth comes at you, Osprey, and like catches your coat and flings you, just up into the air. You start to plummet down towards the ground. And you see the other Ospreys that are clinging to her, and she like locks eyes with you. She says, "You're better than these tricks." And her whole body just kind of does like a wave of electricity over her, and the Ospreys that are hanging on just and glitch out.
And I have a very real moment of uncomfortableness.
Yeah, you watch yourself like explode as her electricity like bursts these copies of yourself you made. Tyrant.
Tyrant still sprinting at Envy.
Yep. You close the distance. You're like on her now. You're within melee. If that's what you're going for.
Yeah. He's gonna run up, just no fear, stare her down as centered as he can go, and go, "My grave it is." And he's going to try and entrap all of her limbs to the ground.
Okay. So are
Like,
you trying
he's
to
fix
you're gonna
her
use
in
like
place. The terrain under her to just
to grab her and restrain her?
just to latch on so she cannot move.
I like it. Roll me.
That's a 10.
Okay. She got a 16 to contest it. The ground sort of, when you do this, the ground around her forms hands that are mimicking your movements, and they grab at her like her feet, but that's all they grab at. Like, you haven't like summoned enough like you're not thinking outside the bonds of like I grab her, right? You're just like, so
it's just I grab. That's all that he's trying to do right
that's
there.
your singular thought. So that's what happens. Two hands from the ground reach out, grab her, and she kind of struggles at them. She kind of does that thing where like when birds of prey like land on their handler's thing, but they're like flapping while still being kind of tied down. She's doing that. Reggie.
All right.
You're so full of electricity right now.
I want to channel all of it into Emma Rose's pistol.
Ooh. All right.
Like all of it.
Yeah.
The surprise assist.
Oh! All
It's
right.
there.
There it is.
Take the shot!
Shoot!
Right.
What'd you roll?
Oh.
I'll let you have advantage, because that's a cool move.
9 and 11.
11?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's a lot of power to concentrate, and you don't want to loose all of it at Anna Rose because you're afraid, like, well, I saw them get blasted by it before. I don't want them to think I'm, like, trying to hurt him. But you aim it at their gun, and you say, take the shot! And the lightning kind of goes through Clippy's little spiral body shape and then lances into the gun. And Anna Rose, your princess pistol is like surging with energy. You see the princess gem on the bottom of it, just alight and dancing with color.
Alright.
Osprey.
Honestly, that's
You're in the
too
air.
cool.
You haven't hit the ground yet.
Can I let Anna go? Can I like hold my action till after Anna?
I'd want you to say like what you were doing as a whole. What your trigger was going to be.
So
I will say, Osprey, you are flying through the air right now.
that's fair.
That's all I'm going to say about
In the
that.
air.
That's fair. All the other ospreys are at this point either gone or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to just make it so that all, like what I did with Reggie, I want to shut off my momentum and use it to how I want, and I want to make it so instead of me flying through the air, hurtling at probably a building to be splattered, instead to stop myself and then just drop to the ground and just superhero landing.
Okay. Roll for that.
10.
We'll say you are hurtling towards a window,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh, I don't want a pancake, I don't want a pancake, I don't want a pancake, and you kind of just like into it, but you thinking of how Reggie did it before, your legs just absorb the impact. It kind of ripples through you with that like your body distorts, but you don't take damage from that happening. It's just like it's like a ripple in the code, and you sort of matrix push up against the window as it like cracks go down the whole building.
Oh hell yeah!
And you're there. Like you don't drop or anything. You just are like, I'm not going anywhere from this spot.
Okay, I dig it.
Yeah. So that's Anna Rose. You're up.
All right.
I'm gonna have Envy's legendary happen. Should she do it now? Yeah. Envy's gonna go, then you'll get your big moment. Envy is going to put her like one of her clawed feet down onto Tyrant, which like flattens you against the ground. And her like big maw comes down. It's still got that sparks of electricity and things in there. And she says, sometimes failure is our best teacher. And she's gonna blast you with electricity. I'm gonna let you react to it. What are you doing, Tyrant?
I'm gonna pull a good ol' I'm not actually here that I did in the maze.
Okay.
And move me back. So like 40-ish feet.
Roll me.
Just
roll
I'm
that,
still
roll
laying
that
down, but pinned.
Yeah.
17.
Nice. You see that electricity firing up inside whatever, mechanism she's using to create this blast. And you just go, I am not here right now. And you're not. That electricity fires into the ground, debris flies everywhere. When she pulls away, she sees you like lying on the ground. You kind of sit up, just like wide-eyed, like, oh fuck, it worked, right? And if dragons could grin, she does, and she just says like, very good. Anna Rose.
He's doing a smug smile right fucking back. He's just...
Yeah, it's your move.
All right. So I'm gonna do what Envy taught me. I'm gonna, in order to stop the fear, I'm gonna center my ki. I'm gonna begin breathing deep.
Yep.
Relax myself, get into the stance Envy taught me, aim my pistol straight at its head, and pull the trigger.
Okay. Roll me to end the fear effect, and then we'll see.
At one.
It's a 1.
There
It's a
it
1.
is.
All right. Roll the shot though. Roll again for the shot. Let's see how you do.
Fight or flight is a thing.
8.
8. The gun like doesn't fire. It's like holding back for some reason. You're like pulling the trigger and it's like not responding. And you're like, come on, and you feel like from the gun this sense of like, you're not using me to my fullest potential. Come on, like, you know how I work. Make me really work. And it ends the fear on you because you remember like, oh yeah, I am one of the princesses. So we'll leave it at that for now and come back to you. Clippy.
One of the princesses.
What you got?
Is going to the Clippy bot, specifically the giant training dummy, is going to take a ridiculous martial arts pose and cause his feet to superheat. He's going to then jump in the air and attempt to dropkick Dragon Envy in the face while yelling, "These feet of mine glow with an awesome power. Their burning toes tell me to defeat you. Take this, my helpfulness, my friendship, and all of my code. Shining toes." And he's gonna kick Envy in the face.
Okay.
I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
19. Holy shit. Okay, yeah. Clippy, the helper, does this amazing like leap into the air and kicks and just completely blindsides Envy because she's having like this like fun sort of playful sparring moment with Tyrant, and it just like and like the robot lands, right, and like as her reaction to this, the tail is just gonna come down and like shrink. But you see like her jaw is like broken a little bit, like parts of her horn are snapped off on that side of their face. It's super fucked up. And the Clippy mech just kind of turns around to all of you and goes to give you a thumbs up, but there's no like hand on that arm. It's just like the stump from like the elbow in, right? He's like, I definitely helped, and the top half of it just slides off.
Clippy, no!
Clippy Mech has been just overpowered entirely by this like giant plasma blade on the end of her tail. All right, Chronic and Dex.
How do we get one of those?
Oh, those boys are blasting. I told them, I said, hey, do what makes you happy. And they're blasting, they're holding hands, you know.
Yep, alright.
Well,
Yeah.
Chronic's just holding mini Dex in his hand.
Chronic and,
This big plague hand.
yeah, Chronic and Mini Dex are sort of like, they went and climbed like a pile of like garbage, and are just sort of up there sitting, and they are like cheering for you, Grace. They're like, you can do it!
Oh my gosh, it's like I'm so supportive of me.
Yeah, little Dex is like, has a cigarette and is just like, there's nobody more badass than you, Grace. Not even me.
This is what really truly convinces me it's not real Dex. Not the fact that he's small, it's the fact that he's truly complimenting.
But you know, it feels good to hear just the same.
It feels good to hear. It feels fake, but it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Envy gets her turn, but then it'll be yours, and you're gonna have inspiration on your roll, Grace. Because your friends are helping you out. Envy kind of breaks free of her the restraints that Tyrant had. And her, like I said, like the face of the dragon is kind of askew and bent in from that like kick. Some of it is like melted from the heat. Her wings are beating. They've got the holes in them from the bullets of the chain gun, which I assume, Osprey, you've just been still going with, like.
Even flying through the air, yeah.
Yeah, well, the replacements of you have been like back there with it.
Yeah.
So those two haven't really been affected yet.
Oh.
So yeah, she flies up into the air. Let's see, what can I pull from in the last couple things?
Oh my goodness.
I want everyone to make a d20 roll with advantage, but you're gonna make it.
Nope.
Oof. Oof. Make you advantage.
Thank you, advantage.
Okay, advantage.
Or probably not.
How are people does everyone get above a 12?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got a 12.
Got a 12? Anybody below a 12? Okay. What you see is Envy sends this like pulse out, and you see things that are in the range of this pulse, like some of the objects, like a building, when it goes out, is a tree, and then another, like a rock, is like a broken down motorcycle. Like she is affecting the reality of this place and changing it. And you all see that coming. And,
that's
like,
okay.
Okay. You see Chronic gets hit by the wave, and he now is tiny, the same as Dex. Dex is fine.
I've never been taller than him.
Yeah, but now they're both small on that garbage pile. Which the wave hits that, and it's like marshmallow cushions, like just like a wave, just a wave of transmutation, basically, has like shot out from Envy. But all of you see it coming, and you're like, "Oh crap!" You brace and just really center your vision on your identity, the form you want to be in, and it passes by you without effect. And she says, "Good. You all know who you are. Now show me!" And like extends her wings in like a defensive pose to take whatever your last like gambit at her is gonna be. So, Grace,
oh boy.
Your turn. What's your final move? Because I want to. Yeah.
I think about what you said about making a choice, and I throw the spear.
Okay, Grace, as you're running, Chronic and Dex are cheering from the pile. Your steps, you start to see like the spear is glitching so much that it's affecting the space around it, and you feel yourself running, and suddenly you're still running, but you're not in the same spot you were. You are also now glitching with the spear. Roll me a d20.
18.
You leap at Envy with the spear, and she comes down with her jaw to like swallow you, but just as it's about to close on you, you glitch behind her with the spear. And you're like, "I made a choice!" and plunge that spear into her neck, which she's just like, like very much damaged by it. Plates on her armor also now start to glitch as this like chaos infusion is starting to affect her form. Tyrant.
I've been trying to work up to this and then fucking you pinning me down. So Tyrant's gonna get right back up, full sprint at Envy, altered the terrain so it's a bit more of a ramp, and he's going to just, you weigh nothing, grab her by the neck and just try and slam her to the ground.
Ooh, I like that.
He's trying to just pull her over his shoulder and just slam her body down.
Yep, roll that.
17!
17. Yeah. As her like head comes down from Grace's like spear, impaling, you grab onto the horn that wasn't broken by the robot's kick, and you say that phrase, "You weigh nothing," and it's so easy. She literally weighs nothing, and you slam her into the ground. Bits of the wings snap and break and creak. You see like areas where she'd been hit by the Gatling gun sort of break apart. She's losing her structural integrity, right? Reggie.
Yeah, I summoned forth, now that she's down on the ground, this tyrant, perfect. That worked out awesome. I want to summon forth all the cables that I sent out to draw off the electricity, and now I want them to come up and wrap around her and bind her down to the ground and hold her down so she's, especially her head, and go, how real is that?
I love it. Roll an advantage.
Nice.
17.
17.
Yeah.
All right. Those cables grow up. They almost take the appearance of like insect legs as they start to segment and join, and they dig into her. The power in her is being drained out of them as they restrain her. It's grounding her basically. So all her electricity is just like diffusing harmlessly into the earth. She is like struggling now, like an animal that's been caught in a net and is like been wounded severely. Osprey.
So I landed on the glass and like standing on it. The entire thing's rippling, and I'm looking down into the glass and see Envy's dragon form, and I go, you ain't wrong. All I am is really just a bunch of tricks, and you also ain't wrong in that you ain't the only one who learned new stuff. And I pull out my other knife, and I rocket off. I rocket off from the building directly at her neck, where she's being pinned down by all the wires and has been brought down by by Tyrant.
Nice.
And I try landing on her, and I have the knife back.
Get out of here, ads.
And,
I was like, why are people dancing?
And I have the knife back, and I'm just pulling all of my energy that I got into this knife blow.
Okay, nice. Roll for that. I'll give you advantage too, because this is fun.
7 or a 16. I'll go with the 16.
Yeah, 16. As you're rocketing down, Envy is just struggling. She doesn't have time to like respond to you, but you plunge that knife into her chest, and it like the ripple effect from the window ripples through her form, and you see parts where just shattering and breaking apart. This dragon is basically finished.
Not yet.
You just hear it roaring. Yeah, you're there. Grace is like on her spear, like hanging on. Tyrant has like Envy's like dragon head kind of like also pinned down. Reggie is clearly like floating full of electricity, controlling these wires. Anna Rose.
All right.
Want to bring us home, cowboy?
Yep. You hear from a deep, deep voice within me. By the power of love, I am the magically lustful cowboy of fashion and flaying. In the name of my loved ones, I will dominate you. Transforming into my princess form. Aiming the revolver straight at its head and pulling the trigger.
Yes!
That's...
Anna Rose.
Make those calls now.
Anna Rose transforms. Their cowboy hat goes from black to white with a giant yellow star on the front, ribbons trailing off of it. Their cowboy dress becomes even more bedazzled, with more ribbons and lace, flying off their cuffs. And they aim their gun, which has now gotten a little bit bigger. The muzzle charges up and fires this heart-shaped beam at Envy's dragon form, which just blasts her in the neck, separating the head of the dragon from the rest of it. And there's this explosion. And you guys have defeated Envy's metallic dragon form.
Ah!
The light in the dragon slowly flickers out. The electricity being drawn into Reggie's wires just dissipates, diffuses. There's quiet. The smoke is just like lifting and drifting off areas that were harmed. I want. What do I want different
Holy fuck, guys!
You see the dragon head kind of roll as it's been like blasted off, and the top like forehead part of it kind of, and you see Envy kind of like sit up out of it as if it was like a cockpit, right?
I rush over. You good? You all right?
Where is it? Hang on. I want our fun, quiet music.
Yeah.
I'm gonna unzip this dress and burp so much. It's so tight, I feel it. Are you talking about this? But I can really feel it.
That's why I did like a mini costume change. I was like,
you did say it was from 7th grade, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, 7th grade never did me wrong, but this dress certainly did. Actually, 7th grade did me wrong too.
Yeah. It's gonna add on me, of course. Just let me finish the game, YouTube.
Fuck.
we just chained together the most badass way to kill a dragon.
I was not gonna let a T-Mobile ad interrupt that moment.
Fuck no.
All right.
It's an ad for Spotify Premium.
Envy lets you help her out of the wreckage of this dragon shape. She nods. She looks very pleased. She says, I think we're ready to start writing some code together.
Well, look at the dead dragon form. I suppose so.
Oh, that's why we're here. I thought we were just coming to have a party. See, now it's clicking.
Grace, you're amazing.
You?
Tyrant kind of just like takes a knee and just kind of like bows his head at Envy and go, "Yeah, it'll be a fun time, huh?"
Now playing Amazing Grace.
The
That was good.
the Clippies like all hop over, just these happy little, paper clips. Envy kind of just makes a gesture with her hand, and the dragon wreckage in the city all just tessellate away. You're not in that emptiness space like you were before, but you are now all floating again. And she kind of snaps her fingers, and this like galaxy motif appears around you. And she says, "Thank you all for coming when I asked you to. I'm impressed. Most people don't pick these things up as quick as you all did, but now we can make whatever we want." And she kind of like extends a hand, and like a meteor that's like flying through space just kind of stops and starts to like orbit around her hand.
Well, I mean, we had a good teacher. That's for sure.
And not only a good teacher, but a hell of a good team. And Tyrant tries to code out a moon and tries to toss it to Reggie.
Nice. Yeah, a little like glowing illuminated moon forms in your hand, which tosses over to Reggie.
I really hope this ends on a high five.
You guys wanna play some like internet happy sat?
Envy like kind of smirks and like snaps her fingers, and she has like a beanie and like a gray hoodie with like a scarf and like ripped jeans, and she's like, I would like to rest, but maybe not here. Maybe in the real world.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sounds pretty good.
And so she kind of points with one finger towards one of the like swirling galaxies, and she says, "Let's go home." And the lights of the stars just start to whiz by you, and you see yourselves just being drawn towards the planet through clouds, through space, through, across oceans, through the continents, and all coming back down onto the Blessing, into the bunker. And you all wake up, having been logged off the net. And that's where we'll end our session. Yay.
Yay!
It's a good
Hey
end.
guys!
Holy
I gotta
shit.
take this off
finally
again. I thought I
awake.
was cold, but now I'm too hot.
Oh.
I will not inside
Wow.
SFW, but I will.
Yeah.
And we ended right on time.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's 11:02.
Oh,
It's
shit.
right at 11.
That okay, we all know this isn't real. That never happens.
Never
No,
happened.
that shouldn't have
It's all
happened
fake.
that way.
This is fake. No way. It's impossible.
All right, let's get out of this dream sequence. We're clearly in the Matrix.
Oh my god. I'm
Oh,
so
man.
sweaty.
So sweaty. It's like real LARP.
It's like real
It
life.
is.
It's like real LARP, but I haven't high-fived anyone, and that's a little sad.
Oh,
That's
I
probably
can't
the
wait to
saddest
see all of
part.
you guys and high-five you guys and stuff.
yeah.
Back to my favorite background.
Whoa.
It's me.
I feel like it went really well, honestly. Like, not
Yeah.
to
It was
toot my
so
own horn,
fun.
but I feel like that was a good, like, pace-wise, and
You-
like we had some nice emotional moments.
Had some
You had me
jokes.
thinking.
Yep.
That was the goal.
Yep.
Like,
I wanna
not
take
gonna
off my
lie,
makeup.
perspective knife bullshit. That was genuine. Like, this is probably not gonna work. Just,
Mhm.
Got
oh
it.
wait, that works. Oh.
No.